Upon where you are. This is Gloria Taylor Brown, and this is a gathering of priestesses. We have with us today a lovely priestess coming to us from Switzerland, which it's rare that we managed to get her to stop traveling long enough for her to be on our show. Miss Corina Peter, better known as Piliaka, and she can tell us more about how she got that name in a little bit. And we have, of course, with us as well my darling co-host, Miss Catherine Ravenwood, Reverend Catherine Ravenwood, and has just a wall bright red. So you want to show us your bright red wall again so that everybody can see it?
Oh, well, it's not the wall yet, but it's going to be this color. Woohoo!
Yeah, she went to the Sekhmet temple and she came back with instructions to paint her wall red. So, which is better than
my entire
when she had instructions to buy a 7-foot statue.
So this is a good compromise. No, I was instructed to strip down my entire altar room, which is layers and layers and layers and about almost 20 years worth of layers. And it's all taken apart right now. The room is almost completely empty. I'm in a shamanic death.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll shamanically aliven you.
Okay.
Actually, it would be kind of fun to watch you rebuild your altar room.
Yes, it will be. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to do a big giveaway as soon as I figure out what all is not going back in. I'm going to do a giveaway of my items.
Okay, one of the things I'm going to ask is a little bit later, not right this minute, for you to explain what a giveaway is.
Okay.
I think that there's probably some people here that don't know exactly what that means.
All right.
Now I'd like to welcome our guest, Miss Piliaka. Are you reverend or not? I have to be careful on this one.
No, we don't have this title here. It's
okay.
Different. It's different.
Okay. So, Piliaka, I'm going to ask you the question we ask of all of our guests. What brought you onto the path of a priestess?
Oh, that's a long story, but the first 39 years, they were quite without a path of the priestess. And then I went to Hawaii the first time, and then it started. And my path is I follow not one direction, not one special ideology. I follow my inner voice. I follow the Great Spirit, and until now, it worked out.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your travels to Hawaii. Let's start with that one, because I know that most people think of Hawaii as paradise. And I apologize, but I've managed to get all my mascara under my eyes again. Yes, Raven, I'm buying new mascara.
I'm the mascara priestess.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, I mean, when you first went to Hawaii, it was really a unique experience for you. So tell us a little bit about it. You've told me before, but let's tell the world.
Yes, it was. First, I thought I only going to visit my brother because he lived there, and then it was really happened. Animals were talking with me. Pele was talking with me, and the Hawaiians, they always said, "You are Hawaiian," and spoke Hawaiian with me, and I said, "No, I'm a Swiss girl." And after I went home, these things happened the whole 4 weeks. And when I was home, I got sick, and I had a shamanic death, like you did. You are in now, Raven. And yeah, my brain was new formatted because of poison. And now I'm on this path, and I cannot go back. It's how it is.
Well, one of the things I find fascinating is that Piliaka is a twin. And I think for the first 35 years of her life, she looked like her twin. And now, if you saw her twin, do you have any pictures of your twin?
Not right now here, but she has blonde hair, blue eyes, and totally different.
And now Piliaka doesn't look like her twin at all. So, so after Hawaii, and you spent quite a bit of time there back and forth, did you not?
Yeah, I was trained several years by a kahuna, and I learned a lot, and this is my really famous place. Shall I show?
Sure, go ahead. Piliaka has some pictures she's going to show us. We're going to cut her some slack on the fact that this is her first experience of a hangout and her first experience sharing pictures. So this is, tell us what this is.
This is the view of a really sacred place in Kipahulu in Maui. And there I was trained in this region, and I really love it. This is my favorite place. So, and I was trained in everything, in Laulapa'au, that's plant medicine, in star, moon cycle, Lomi Lomi massage, and also in spiritual healing, everything. And Lua, that was... Lua is the martial art, and as you can see, I am here with eyes closed, and I experienced that eyes can be very restrictive, because with eyes open I didn't hit the banana trunk. With eyes closed I did. So these were the things that we were training, and meditation at the sacred pools, and yeah, that was quite amazing. And I go back there until now as often as I can.
Well, I must admit you look a lot like a Hawaiian there.
Yes, when I'm there, it takes me 1 week, and then I look like a Hawaiian.
So I can understand their issues. Now, while you were studying with the kahuna, and obviously you also, based upon the fact that I can't understand some of the words you're using, you learned quite a bit of the Hawaiian language. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. I know several words to speak. This is a total different thing, because the Hawaiian language, the words have so many different meanings depending where they are in this phrase, what is coming behind, what is coming before, and what emotions are coming with it. So that's a totally different thing.
Very different from German, where one word means one thing.
Oh yes, very, very different. And they put the words in one line, so there are very long words. So the name of my kahuna was Kapi'i Oho Okalani. So these are 5 or 6 words together.
Okay. And this was primarily on the island of Maui?
This study, yes. I had another teacher, Ho'okahi. She was on Kauai. She's the wife of Kahu Abraham, very known. And my favorite island at the moment is Molokai. That's a small island, very local, very Hawaiian, and I like to be to the people there too. So.
Molokai is famous for the fact that it had another Swiss gentleman there many years ago who set up the first leper colony. Is that not correct?
It was not I think it was a Dutch.
Oh, okay.
He was a Dutch, Father Damien. Father Damien, yeah. And they have still the leper colony down there on Kalaupapa. That's half island Kalaupapa, and they have still leper people there living.
I thought they had wiped out leprosy.
Yes, it's not that, but they lived there the whole life and they don't go out now. They are healed, but they live there still.
No,
They
that's
don't go out.
it's
It's also a very nice place, by the way.
yeah, it's a very interesting story and not one that we're going to go into here. But if you're ever interested, read the story of Father Damien and the leper colony on Molokai. What he did there was quite remarkable. So Piliaka, whenever you went there, you were Corina, and now you are Piliaka. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that was the second time that I went there. I took a class to build my ipuheke, that's a gourd drum. And there was an old lady, a kupuna, and I had to find a name for my drum. And I had Aka in my mind. And I asked her, Auntie, is this appropriate? And she said, well, you have to add something. And then she turned away. When she turned back, she cried. And I asked, what is going on, Anaki? And then she said, I have a name, but it's for you. It's not for your gourd. And then I asked, what's the name? And she said, Piliaka, and it went directly in my heart. Directly. And then she explained what it means. It's a really big name.
Do you want to tell us what it means?
Yeah, Pili is, that's how she explained it to me. And in Hawaiian, you have the name that the person gives you. Don't look for other meanings. So she said Pili is the universe, the universal wisdom, infinity, moon, stars, sun, light, shadow, and laughing. And Aka are the connections in the whole universe. And actually, I think I'm doing this now with my travels.
Well, you have done a lot of connections with your travels. I always find it interesting that the Hawaiian word is Aka, and the word that we use in alchemical healing and in a number of other traditions is Akasha, which is AKA it's as well starting out. So it's there's in another life, I am a student of languages, not in this life. So I find languages fascinating. I find the value in languages and the translation of them and how they've traveled. So the Akasha and the Aka obviously at some point have the same root words. And so, and then whenever you were renamed, what happened to you? Did you find that it changed you personally?
First I was afraid to use the name, and as longer as I use it, I am growing into it, and the challenges are getting bigger, and I am traveling more and more and more. I think that's you are growing into it. That's how I feel it.
So tell us a little bit about your travels, and you can show us some pictures as well, because I know you have some prepared for us. I know that after your Hawaiian travels, you had some travels in the United States, and then you went off the grid, shall we say.
Yeah, in the United States, I got so I got to know in Hawaii, especially, I got to know Chief Sonny Roina as indigenous Indian from the Yaqui tribe, and he is the holder of the prophecies. He taught me the first things in this tradition. And then came Angangak. He is an Eskimo elder, and I will share now the picture.
Well, Chief Son Reina is Yaqui. Where is the Yaqui located?
South California, San Juan Bautista they are now.
Okay.
That's him. So they are San Juan Bautista, but before, and Mexico. And before they lived at the west coast, more north, and he's coming from a, they were in charge of the whirlwinds, his family.
The whirlwinds. Do you mean like tornadoes?
Yeah. They looked at the tornadoes didn't hit villages, so they went with the whirlwinds around the villages. So that's him.
Okay. So, Raven, I want you to step in whenever you don't understand something that she's explaining. We're going to let you be our every woman.
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by a client's message just then. Sorry.
All right, no problem.
I'll pay more attention.
That's all right.
Things at once.
And so, Piliaka, tell us a little bit about Chief Son Reina.
He is the holder. He is Sundance chief and Yaqui elder, and he is also the holder of the prophecies of the Yaqui. And he told me also the story about what's the author? Don Juan, the author of this book.
Four Agreements.
No. I don't remember, but they knew the white. Huh?
The Castaneda.
I didn't understand.
Was it Carlos Castaneda?
Yeah, Carlos Castaneda. Yeah, they know, the elders. They know that he will come and that he will write a book, and so they took him in because they knew he will write it anyway, if it is right or not. So they took it in, and then he wrote the first two books with their knowledge, and the others is Castaneda's knowledge.
Ah.
Yeah, and so I had my first sweat lodge and my first vision quest with him, with Chief Son Reina, and he is a peace chief. He has also an organization for children, Tsunami of Love for Children. So he is very, and he loves to live. I like it.
So, Piliaka, can you share with us any prophecies that he has shared with you that have come about, or any that we should be really paying attention to help us? Or is that something you can speak about?
I'm not really familiar with it. I was only able to read it once, and I'm not allowed to. I think I'm not allowed to share it because he.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And but it has also to do with 2012, and I remember when he was on Hawaii, Kahu asked him if he will sacrifice himself if it is needed, and he said, "No, I have a son. He is 6 years old, and he needs me." So, yeah.
So Chief Son Reina led you to?
I got into with him. I learned about the Native American tradition, and then another one came in, and other people, they are coming to me. I'm not looking for teachers. That's how it works. And then came Angangak Angakoshwak. He is an Eskimo shaman. And he also came here and asked if I would be his student and participate in his program, and I did. So.
And you met him in California?
Sorry?
Where did you meet him?
In Austria.
Oh, in Austria, okay.
Yes, I was translating after Egypt and after Hawaii. I was translating at the Shaman Congress, and so I met him there. So, and then because I had time because of my hand, because I had an accident, I was able to go to Greenland and live there for quite a month and build up the campground and the site for this fire and ice ceremony in 2009.
Okay, and at the fire and ice ceremony, who did you meet there?
I met shamans from all over the world, and as you see, I met also the shamans from the Amazon rainforest, from the tribe of the Kuntanawa. And this one that you see now here is the sun. It's Haru. It is Haru, and they were out of Brazil. They never saw ice. And it was for them really cold.
I'll bet. So.
Yeah.
So Haru is from.
If you see what they do with the ice, it's the first time that they saw ice.
This was in the summer in Greenland, right?
Oh yes, yes, in June. It was in June. Yeah, June 2009. And there I met Univu and Haru. And this is the elder of the Eskimo eldest, Hansina. And they were like son and grandson for her. They had a really good relationship with her. And then I met Univu. This is Univu. And now, since then, we are partners. It was like we saw, I didn't speak Portuguese, we couldn't speak orally, but we had conversation on another level. So, yeah.
And Univu is from where in Brazil?
Oh, it's deep in the forest, but near the border to Peru.
Okay.
Really far away.
So if you wanted to go and visit Univu, what would you have to do?
Minimum 5 days traveling. From here to Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, and then through the whole Brazil to Cruzeiro do Sul, and from there book a taxi flight, a small flight for Marechal Thaumaturgo, and from there I go by boat. I go by boat. If I go there, wait. Here you see the boat, small boats, and you are 2 days on the water in these boats just going. But you can see the sun coming up in the morning. It's breathtaking.
Okay, and so once you get to the end of the place where the boat takes you, what do you have to do then?
Then I'm in the village with where they live, and that's there. So that's how we look when we are there.
Piliaka, I have to say something.
Yeah.
Every picture of you with these different indigenous people, you look like their tribe.
I know.
You change. And you look like them.
Yes. A Maori once said, a Maori shaman, she said, you know, you have so many past lives with quite every tribe on the world. If you are there, you look like them.
Yes, you do. I mean, your skin color changes, your facial structure changes. It's amazing. Your eyes stay the same. Your gorgeous red hair, but the rest of you changes.
The gorgeous red hair is a fake.
Now, we're not supposed to tell all our secrets, honey. So, you've been involved with Unavu now for 6 years?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you've been back to Brazil how many times?
3 times, 2 to 3 months.
Each time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you see, and the Eskimos, they came visit them in 2010.
Oh, I bet you they didn't like the weather.
And it was very hot for them. Here you see how Angangak is arriving.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 5, you see here, different people from 4 different tribes. I'm from the Yawanawa, Shaninawa, Shaminawa, and the Kuntanawa. So, and here you see Hansina again when she arrives in the Amazon. She was there too, and she's over 80 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And that was one bridge that I built, that they come here to the Amazon. And it was really, yeah. And here you see Angangak, Univu, and me. It's a different world. It's really a different world with all these tribes there, dancing, mariri, and yeah, or then ceremonies with ayahuasca, because he's the shaman and healer. Univu is the shaman and healer, and I learn a lot of him. So he's my teacher.
Okay, so when they take the ayahuasca, does everyone take it or does just the shaman?
It depends. Normally, if you have a person who has a problem, then the shaman first takes takes a journey with ayahuasca and to look what is really the problem, because the symptoms are not the problem. So he makes a journey to see what is the real problem, and then if the people are there, they take ayahuasca too for healing. It's really cleansing, and you can also clean wounds or bites or from outside. It's very, you can do a lot of things with it. Yeah.
Okay, so you have taken ayahuasca?
Yes, I did.
And
Yes.
what was your experience of it?
My experience was each time different. It's never the same. And I'm fortunate because I cooked the ayahuasca together with Onibu. So I exactly know what is in it, and what intention, and what music, or what is in it. So if you don't know it, it can be really tough. There are tribes who make really tough ayahuasca, so it comes out of you every cell. But he likes it more smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one time I was up in the stars, and it was really nice to look down. I looked down on the place, and after a while I realized that somebody is sitting beside me and is singing with a guitar and singing, and these songs brought me back to earth. And then I asked Unibu, who was this guy? It was so nice up there, and said, yeah, but it was time to come back. So it was my brother. I said, oh, I didn't know that that this was your brother, because he has 13 brothers and sisters, and himself he has 15 children. So there are many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
each time it is different.
Okay. So you also made a movie down there?
I made movies, yeah, with the tribes, with the cacique, that's the chief, and the shaman, and if they were of a woman, with a woman. And but I did I didn't publish it yet.
Mm-hmm.
With every tribe that wanted to share. It was about 8 or 9 tribes that are all speaking the same language, the language of Pano. And yeah, they shared the wisdom, they shared their concerns, they had messages for the world. So I'm still looking forward to publish it.
So do they have any messages that we should hear now, but in advance?
Um, it, they are also indigenous people. Their biggest concern is that the Amazon will be destroyed, and they know if this will happen, we have all problems. And they have one tree. It's called the Samauma. It's the highest tree, and they say it's the tree of life.
Mm.
And
Have you ever seen that tree?
yes, yes. I have here I am this picture. I am between the roots of this tree.
My.
My
The
goodness.
roots are really high, like a 2-story building. So, and this tree is on top of every other tree, and in the morning it's in the mist. And that's why he brings down the water to earth. Without this tree, the Amazon would be dry. And at the moment, the government sold this tree, the wood, to China, and they take it out. And for each tree, they have to build a road because the tree is only one tree at one place. It's like the life, tree of life in the film Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
So in your travels in the Amazon, the indigenous people have shared their concerns.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is your greatest concern, having experienced not only the indigenous people of the Amazon, but also of Greenland and Hawaii, as well as having them come and visit you in Switzerland, Germany, and Austria?
Um, the biggest concern for me is that the greed, and that we are not using our technology or wisdom or what we have, science, wisely. We do things just because we can do it, but we don't know what to do with the garbage. We don't know what to do with, for example, with atom energy. What are we doing with it? But we are doing it because we can, and that's not very wise.
There's a famous quote from Jurassic Park, the first show, where it says, just because we can doesn't mean we necessarily should.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have so much knowledge, but the money rules the world, and yeah, perhaps the money will crash. I don't know.
So I know that Raven is the queen of recycling. And let's talk a little bit about not only recycling, but the use of resources in this world, because it sounds to me like not only the indigenous people, but the people who are awake and aware. That is an issue that most of us are having an issue with. Raven, would you like to say something here? Because I know that you are, this is a good platform for you to talk about this.
Well, we're all consumers. And so we all drive, we drive cars, we take trips on airplanes, we live our lives, and we're consumers. And I have had people tell me that, oh, I'm not a consumer, and yet they have diesel trucks and big consumers. But because they think they buy groceries in bulk, that they're exempt. But the point is we're all using resources, and so we all need to make every effort to do less. And I don't think it matters so much. I mean, I'm not talking about who's making a product like children, but we all buy products from all over the world. And that's all getting shipped all over the place. I just drove to Nevada and back, and there are a lot of big trucks on the road. Lots of big trucks. And they're all using gas, and they're all full of stuff. So whether we're buying stuff from China or Switzerland or Mexico or wherever we're getting it from, it's all got to get to us somehow. And then if we don't want something, we throw it away. Well, there is no away. You can't throw something away.
No.
There's no away. So we put it in the recycle bin, and maybe it gets recycled properly, or maybe it gets dumped in the ocean. We don't really know. So I think that it's difficult for everyone to go to bare bones kind of living, and you compost everything, and you grow your own food, and you buy everything locally. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to do. I don't know. I don't have a place to grow my own food. I don't feel like putting water on a compost pile is wise for me living in the desert. I don't think I have that much. But I think we can all make an effort. So you use less. You try to be conscious about what you buy, and don't buy stuff unless you need it. You reuse stuff, so don't just throw the scrap paper away. Use it again, and then recycle it. Just think about what you're doing. Have a relationship with it. But we all use stuff. I mean, most of us have. Everybody today has a computer or a cell phone, and that all comes from
a computer and a cell phone.
Yeah, or multiple computers, cell phones, iPads. We all have technology, or else we aren't watching this show today. And we all use, we all consume. And I think it's a consciousness that we have to come into, and of trying to not do so much. Do we really need to buy that? Can we buy local food? Do I really need to purchase something else? Can I reuse something I have? And can I be happy with what I have? Because I think a lot of our consuming has to do with not being happy and filling a hole. It's an addiction. But there is no away. And if the Amazon were to be destroyed, we would be destroyed. And all these trees getting cut down, and all the water being polluted, and the oceans being polluted, at some point that's going to be a point of no return. So I think it behooves us all to be very aware.
Yeah.
So, Piliaka, what do you see in Switzerland? Do you see people conserving resources, or is this something that is there a consciousness around this?
Yeah, it is. It is. They are very looking into it, renewable energy, and to make markets, local markets, and to buy the food near you from what is coming from around, if possible. There are also projects for new ways of farming, or there are several. But still, it's the country with the big money, and also with the whole thing what is coming with it. Yeah, and
So,
the people, they are not so aware about what is going on. For example, in the Amazon, special people, yes, but the big, they, I think. Perhaps it's also a thing that we hear so many bad things and about this, and at some point the people they don't want to hear it anymore. They are tired of these things, and that's why in our film that that we have a project also should be also the nice things to be shown, and not only the bad things. For in the Amazon, for example, the nice things that are there, and not only the destroying or the water resources or whatever. Yeah. And I believe that if you are doing something in your community, I don't have a big family, but if I'm doing something in my family, it goes out like ripples. So each one can do something, each one. Small things, and it goes out and around, and someday it's like the water, it's around the whole world. So, but in a small part, you can do something.
I have friends who just needed to remodel their house, and they chose to remodel their house with very green products. You know, they used like bamboo on their floors. They chose ecologically friendly paint. You know, they made these kind of choices when they remodeled their house. And after you've lived in a house for 20 years, you need to do some changes. I mean, it gets worn out and you've got to paint. And they made those kind of changes, and they were more expensive than other things they could have chosen, but they chose to do that, and that they were able to do that. And I thought that was a great thing. And I just feel like, you know, in 1969, I started recycling, and started with riding my bicycle. I didn't have a car, and picking up Coors and Budweiser beer bottles, because I knew you could take those back to the distributor. And I would fill up my basket and take them back to a distributor, and I think they probably threw them away. But I said, I know that your companies take these back, so I'm bringing them to you. And they'd look at me like I was crazy. And then through the years, I would take home the recycling from everywhere I worked and store it in my car and in my house, and then I would find the recycle place in town to take it to. Well, now most of us here have curbside recycling, which is a big change, and that's evolved over many, many years. And I think it helps. And then you buy, instead of buying products that are made with 100% virgin paper, you know, from trees, you buy the 30% recycle, the 40% recycle. You know, you buy, if you can buy, I have a purse that's made out of recycled plastic. I have a vest made out of recycled plastic. So we try to support these things as we go along.
Yeah,
and it makes a difference. And then you teach other people the value of this, and then they teach it to somebody else. But little kids know. They know how to recycle.
Yeah, here recycling is also in the whole Europe. We are really recycling a lot of things. And yeah, but it's good. It's good. And you know, for me, electricity is also such a theme. Not that everything that is green, like atom, is green, because you don't know what to do with the waste. And I had to laugh a little bit, because here in Switzerland, all the politicians say, we cannot live without the atom energy. And now
you're talking about nuclear energy.
All three broke down, and it works perfectly without.
So when you say the atom energy, you're talking about nuclear power plants.
Yeah, nuclear power plants, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing that I find is that although my generation and the generation before me was not raised on the farm, the generation before that, my grandparents, were raised on a farm, both sides. And they recycled because there was nothing that ever went that it didn't get used up.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
To the point that, you know, nothing came into the house that couldn't be totally used, and there was nothing that was ever thrown away. There was no such thing as garbage.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Even my grandmother had little, what's that cloth with the kind of the holes in it, cheesecloth. She would take and make little bags out of cheesecloth and put all of her soap slivers in it.
Yeah.
And so when it got too small to wash your hands, it would go in the cheesecloth bag, and that would be a new bar of soap. So it was always being recycled, always, always.
Yeah.
And everything went in their garden. So all the compost went in their garden, and there just wasn't, of course, you know, I remember growing up and we didn't have plastic, so there were no plastic bottles, there were no plastic bags, there were no garbage bags. You know, it was paper bags at the grocery store, but you lined your garbage outside with newspaper. And your shampoo was glass bottles, and the toothpaste tubes were made of metal. There was no plastic. It had not been invented.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now everything's plastic and throw it away. But there is no away.
No, there is no way. Yeah. The indigenous living, they throw away nothing. They take what they need and they use everything.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies is The Gods Must Be Crazy. And if you haven't seen that, it's well worth watching because it is a universal theme, and it's very funny as well. But it's the story of a tribe in the depths of Africa where a Coke bottle is dropped out of an airplane, and the Coke bottle becomes an object of desire in the community, and one of the elders decides that he must return the Coke bottle to those who brought it to him because it is causing dissent in the group. And it is the story of him trying to return that Coke bottle because they didn't have anything like that before, and it has caused problems. And his story is quite wonderful. And you know, it's in a way it's that is emblematic of what has happened to the native tribes, whether they're in the Amazon or in Siberia or wherever, is that previously, you know, they may not have had everything they needed, but they survived, and they've survived for thousands of years. And then suddenly something from our modern day world comes into them, and it's like, oh, we can't survive without this anymore. We can't survive without you know, plastic cups, or we can't survive without our iPad or our whatever. And we can. You know, there is a way to live which has less of a footprint on the universe. And I think for the sake of those Amazonian tribes, for the sake of those Greenland tribes, for those Siberian tribes, for those Hawaiian tribes, we as the consumers, as Raven called us, owe it to them to use less, to think about what we're using and how it's affecting the universe. How you know, throwing that container out is. I have a garbage can that has the words "recycle on only" on the top of it, and some of my guests here were having trouble with that. They were putting things in there that weren't recyclable things. And I thought, you know, maybe I should do a sign and explain what recyclable is. But it's like if you study what is happening with the recycle stuff here in the U.S. in particular, it's appalling. I mean, basically, we pack it up and we ship it to China.
Mm-hmm.
And now China is saying, we don't want all of your recyclable garbage anymore because we can't use all of it. So we don't want that. You take it and you put it somewhere else. And we haven't figured out where somewhere else is. I mean, the lifestyle of Americans, and I'm going to include Canadians in that as well, but people here in this first world country, in order for everyone on the earth to have this lifestyle, we need 4 more planets.
Mhm.
We haven't got 4 more planets.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if we're going to continue to make babies, which we will do that, we have to look at how we're going to live our lives. I just had a very interesting conversation with a young woman yesterday, and I explained to her that she didn't have to have a septic tank, that there were such a thing as composting toilets. And as I explained what a composting toilet was, she says, "Oh, you've made my day. I didn't know these things existed."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there composting toilet, we think, oh, that's a big deal. It's a toilet that, you know, turns waste into something you can use in the garden. Well, I know for a fact Raven lived in a place where they had outhouses. And I'm sure,
Toilets, outhouse.
yeah, outhouse. And I know that whenever Piliaka is probably down there in the Amazon, you know, it's probably a hole in the ground.
Yes, it is.
So the modern life where we have to have all these conveniences, we have ways of getting around it, and we also have old ways that allow us to make a difference in the world. And I don't want to get on a soap opera, a soapbox, but it's important that we think about these things and think about the effect we are having on, for example, the Amazon. Without the Amazon, we cease to breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the thing you need to understand. Without the Amazons is the lungs of this planet. If
Yeah.
we do not have the trees in the Amazon, we do not have enough oxygen in the air.
Yeah. And the Indios, they see themselves as the protectors of the forest, of the Amazon. They are always protecting it.
Yeah. So, you know, when I hear that they have sold the trees to the Chinese, who are going to cut them down and take them to China, and I have no idea what they're going to make with them. But
it's a very light wood. They build airplanes. It goes into airplanes.
lovely.
Super.
We need more airplanes, obviously, so that we can fly to the Amazon, so we can see the indigenous people. It's a vicious circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, Piliaka, we're coming to the end of the show here. If you had one message that you wanted to get out to the world from these indigenous people that you have traveled and learned, and quite remarkably learned most of their languages. I mean, you know, I'm from the South in America. We have trouble with English, and that's the only language most of us speak. So I am so in awe of the fact that you speak multiple languages. I realize that that's normal in Europe, but beyond that, that you are able to speak Hawaiian and communicate with tribes in the Amazon, communicate with tribes in Greenland, and be able to say even their names properly, and beyond that. So there is one message that you can bring us, that having traveled and having spoken all these languages, what would the message be?
Let's think. As a first, we only have one planet, and everybody of us lives on this planet, and we live together on this planet, and we have to think about what we are doing, because for our future 7 generations ahead of us. So don't consume as much as we did before. Work together, get in contact, learn from each other, and use also new technologies can used really in a good way. And don't do something because only you can do it and it gives money. So think about, we have only one earth. We are, everybody of us is together on this earth. We are all human beings the same. So there is no difference.
Thank you. So, Raven, I said earlier I wanted you to explain a giveaway. And I would like to end the show tonight basically with you telling us what a giveaway is.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to start up and come down. So as Piliaka said, there is only one earth, and the earth gives everything to us. All of our air, the water, the ground, all these plants that grow naturally, all the resources of the world are given to us. Whether you want to call that Mother Nature, God, Goddess, whatever you want to call it, these things are given to us. And it is important that we give back with our consciousness, our love, our thanks. That is the great cycle of things. If we take, it stops. So in the native culture, they talk about the buffalo who gave away all it is so that people could live. The animals, the trees, they give away everything so that we can use them. We must give back. We must give honor and gratitude and try to be conscious of what we're taking. What I'm doing is I'm doing a giveaway. I am stripping down my altar room, and many things are not going to go back in there. And instead of throwing them away or giving them to the Goodwill or having a yard sale, I am going to arrange for a giveaway, and I will put everything out on a table and invite people to take what they want. And if they don't want it all, then I'll find another way to have it be used again. It won't go in the trash. But that is my way of letting someone else take something I don't like anymore or that isn't useful to me anymore. And many of these things are sacred objects, things that have been in my altar room for almost 20 years. Some of them not so long. Some of them are as simple as candle holders, but I have too much. And so instead of hauling it all off to the secondhand store, where some of it I know would not be appreciated, I'm just going to do a giveaway. And that is my way of honoring how I've used these things and what they've meant to me in my spiritual work, and to be able to let someone else have a chance to use them.
Thank you. So, Piliaka, I know that you have just gone through a training in Eugene, Oregon with Nikki Scully and become an alchemical healing teacher. And I believe you and Barrett are going to be doing some teaching. I know Barrett's on the show tonight. So if you'd like to announce those shows that are, those classes that are coming up.
Yes, we are planning for the next year a 1-year circle to go into the alchemical healing. We will teach it. So you will be a practitioner, become a practitioner for alchemical healing in 1 year. If somebody is interested, you can contact me on moveandgo.ch or info@moveandgo.ch. And we would be happy to welcome everybody of you that are on the call.
Well, I think we have quite a few of your people here. We have Barrett and Marty and Rutger and Bridget and Antje, and also Maria Dologowski from here in
Oh, wow.
says hi.
Hi, hello to everybody. It's an honor that you are on the call.
And you are also going to do something in about another week here that I'm extremely jealous of. So tell us about your upcoming trip.
Yes, I'm doing a spiritual trip to Tuscany at a really fantastic place directly at the ocean. And the theme is to bring together opposites. in ourselves, or the things that you are afraid of, to bring them into your peace, and that everything can be one. And we will be in 1 week. We will be for 1 week down there, and we have still one place is left. If somebody wants to come,
So
same address.
they should contact you at
Yeah,
moveandgo.ch.
yeah.
And Miss Raven, tarot reader extraordinaire, teacher extraordinaire, do you
Yeah.
have anything coming up that you would like to tell us about?
I'm still doing readings on a regular basis. I don't have any classes. Well, my classes are online. So I have the first 2 levels of spiritual directions, a path of initiation, up online with Mother House of the Goddess. And there will be 2 other levels coming up later. But this is a shamanic course into the 7 directions. And you are taken on an initiatory path, and you journey into each of the directions. It's a very powerful class. I've taught it before in live, and it's working well online for people. So that's at Mother House of the Goddess, and I'm under the classes. I'm here in Albuquerque getting involved in different things, and like I said earlier, I'm going through kind of a stripped down phase. I was just down at the Sekhmet Temple, and Sekhmet, well, Sekhmet has suggested that I change my ways.
Oh, yeah, right. She suggests. I like that word.
Done it very nicely, but very firmly, and it's very interesting because definitely I can see many places that it's time to go there. So I'm dealing with some things, you know, it's a personal journey, and it'll be very good. And I'm about to take a new class with some people I met on shamanic astrology, and I can tell you more about that later. And so it's fun. So I'm trying to learn new things, have more fun, and lighten up.
All right.
I'm
Great.
available for readings because that's my passion.
Okay, so if they wanted to have a reading, how would they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me at my website, which is KatherineRavenwood.com, KATHRYN, or you can email me at the letter K, Ravenwood, at Yahoo. And I would love to set up a session with you. And I will be traveling on Wednesday to see the great Gloria Taylor Brown and go to the ocean with you. Yay!
Yeah, actually, she's coming here for the ocean. She's not interested in me.
That's right. I'm just using you.
So this coming Tuesday, we will have the great and wonderful Normandy Ellis on. And I've asked her to tell us more about her Phoenix Rising course that she's teaching up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I didn't even know Michigan had a Grand Rapids. And she's going to be on. I'm not sure, but Nikki Scully may be joining us. Nikki Scully's mother is in the final phases of passing out of this life, and we're holding her in health and good humor, and that she may, that her mother may pass away in the best possible way. She's 97 years old, so she's had a very long and good life. I want to thank Piliaka and Raven for being on the show today. I want to thank everyone who has listened live on the show. You do make a tremendous difference. It keeps us on our toes when we know you're listening. And we also want to thank those of you who listen in the future on YouTube. And please let us know. And we'd like you to join, if you are a woman, a Gathering of Priestesses. It is on Facebook. Just type in the words of Gathering of Priestesses. You'll have to ask to join, and they'll have to approve you. So I do look at every one of the people that asked to join. And we are now at almost 800 people in a Gathering of Priestesses, and I have not added anybody arbitrarily. I've only added those that asked to join. So I'm very pleased with that.
Well, thank you for this work you're doing, Gloria. It's very important and monumental. And thank you so much for, it's a tremendous effort for Gloria to do this, and the technology and the support that is required for her to maintain all this. So thank you very much for doing this for all of us.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Piliaka, for being with us today. And we hope that your trip to Tuscany is absolutely fabulous, because I want to go next year.
I will let you know. Thank you. I will let you know. We will plan it now, so you have time.
All right. Raven and I have to go. You know, she has to come with me. You want to go to Tuscany, don't you, Raven?
Yes, I want to go to Tuscany.
Great. So we have an appointment next September.
Sounds good.
Gloria, thank you so much for everything that you do, and to be a good friend, and also Raven. It was really a pleasure, and I had fun, and I hope the others had fun too.
It's really great to see you again, sweetie.
Yeah, it is great to see you both.
That's going to be the end of our broadcast tonight. Please come back Tuesday evening for Normandy Ellis. We are totally thrilled with having her on. She is absolutely one of the most brilliant women I've ever met in my life, and she is absolutely the most kick-ass girlfriend on the planet, besides Raven, of course, and Piliaka. Anyway, this is the end of the broadcast today. Thank you so much.